and the Dukes weren't hazardous. She's only 17, made us curious. It was a carefree time. How about we jump back and rewind? We were living on Winger and a prayer, just garbage pail kids with mullets and big hair. Let's open up another pack. Gen X wants their future back. Break out the denim jackets and faded band patches. Share memories, Polaroid captured. It's the Gen X marks, the spot portraits.
From the Wherever I May Roam studio, it is Gen X Marks the Spot podcast. I'm your host, Joe Augustine. Today, we have a guest with us who is besties. Oh my God, did I actually say that? Oh, I'm sounding like my youngest at 10. Oh, somebody help me. Best Buds with Lou Gramm. You may know Lou, heard of him, some band called Foreigner. But did you know that Lou was also in a band prior to Foreigner called Black Sheep? Anyway, Don Mancuso, guitarist, legend, Rochester, New York native. He's going to talk to us about Black Sheep, his very first band with Lou, his career spanning decades working with his own solo projects such as D-Drive, and being a member of Lou Gramm's band. Don has a new upcoming project with his band D-Drive, and keeping the band's spirit alive after lead vocalist Phil Naro passed away a few years ago. You may remember Phil from his work with Talas and Coney Hatch back in the day. Don is also in the process of writing what is possibly going to be a biography or just his adventures out on the road. I'm kind of getting a little pumped for that. I love bios with bands and artists. From talking to Don, it is going to be an insider's look at stories, challenges, and triumphs of a touring musician. Don hopes to have all that completed in the coming months, and let's pray the book will be out by spring. And before I go any further, I just have to give you guys a little side note. Some of the audio quality on this particular episode, it sounded good coming through the earbuds, but once I played it back, a lot of editing and mixing had to take place. So if it's not the best of audio, my apologies to Don especially and his fans. But I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Here's my interview with Rochester Music Hall of Fame legend, Don Mancuso. So Don, thank you for joining me on the Gen X Marks the Spot podcast. It's great to have you today.
Great to be here.
You have such a long history in the music industry, starting way back at the age of 18 when you began professionally in the music business. And you were in a blues rock band called Black Sheep, and it had none other than future lead singer of Foreigner, Lou Gramm.
That's correct.
Now, how did you two connect? And excuse me if I don't know Lou's history, but was he from the area that you were in Rochester, or you guys got together in a different way?
No, we were living actually he was on the west side of Rochester, and so was I. I was on the northwest side and playing with another band that was basically just a basement band at the time. We did a lot of, current stuff that we liked, like, Deep Purple and R&B, a lot of blues rock stuff. And the way I was introduced with him, I had seen him play because Black Sheep was the big band around here at the time. They were one of the up-and-comers, which there were a lot of at that point in time. But I was playing out with this band Maelstrom on the back of a flatbed behind this, I think it was a grammar school that was it was one of these schools that was surrounded by houses, and a track of homes all the way around. And it was a show with my brand new Marshall 50 with the 810 cabinet that my dad had bought me. I think I was like 17, whatever. And of course, at that point in time, they didn't have really pedals or anything that I was aware of. It
Hmm.
was early on, 72, 73. So I wanted to crank the amp up, turned it up. So apparently, I woke the bass player, Bruce Turgan, from Black Sheep off, walked over and asked me if I wanted to, audition for Black Sheep. I was like, sure. And then from there, that's where I met Lou. Is at the audition over at the drummer's house, and we became fast friends and started hanging out together and writing songs and doing shows.
You guys actually got signed, and it was through Chrysalis Records?
Chrysalis, yeah.
Chrysalis Records, my bad.
No, that's okay. It's kind of a weird spelling of a name, but we were the first American act signed to that label. They were an English label. The guy that was managing us at the time, Jim Taylor, he worked as an A&R rep for A&M Records. So he was trying to help us through his connections with A&M and, get the name of the band around, see if we could find something. And they had already written, like, I think three or four or two or three originals that they had recorded with Lou's younger brother Richard Grammatigo. And when he left the band, I came in, and it took about a year. I think we were on the tour of all the clubs on the Mohawk Trail in Massachusetts for a year. They ripped me out of high school and said, "Come on, we got to go." My parents got a meeting together with the school. They allowed me to go because I pretty much had all my credits for a Regents diploma done. I was just attending classes there to basically stay out of trouble.
Being able to leave from high school, which I'm sure you didn't mind at all.
Right. I wanted to make music a big part of my life, so it was an opportunity I wanted to in on. And our manager hooked us up with this producer, Stuart Allen Love, that had just left Columbia Records, and he picked us up under his production company. We got signed to Chrysalis Records. We put out one single, Stick Around, which was a nominal hit in Knoxville, Tennessee, on AM radio, apparently. And they decided that, we didn't get enough action with the single we had put out. So they dropped us
Ah,
and picked up another band. I can't remember who it was. It was good. Oh, Michael Schenker. Someone that I was not even embarrassed to be, oh, they dropped us and got him. That's okay.
right. Well,
But eventually we signed with Capitol Records and put out two albums on Capitol Records and toured with everybody from Hall & Oates to Kiss, Blue Oyster Cult, 10 years after Alvin Lee, and a bunch of others, Todd Rundgren, but whoever was out on the road at the time. Our management then became Stuart Allen Love from Open Love Production that signed us, and he picked up a booking agent, Vincent Romeo, who was with ICM. And of course, we had to have a lawyer in there as part of the management. Yeah, so we got signed, did the two albums, and touring at that point in time was, us driving around in a huge equipment truck and the band in a station wagon or whatever. So it was kind of rough on the road, and we had one truck accident, lost all our equipment. I think we were coming back from a Kiss show in Boston, and they flipped the truck on the New York State Thruway again and destroyed all the equipment. When we contacted our management to get the money to replace the equipment, they told us that, well, we didn't renew it because it was too expensive, so you're on your own. So being on our own, we were like pretty fed up with just, traipsing around the country and, wondering what's going to happen next. So we decided to throw in the towel and not move on. And Lou had been approached by Mick, I think the year before we broke up, but he didn't have really all the band together or the money behind it. And at that point, Lou knew that. He said, if you haven't got the money, I'm just going to follow through with what I got going now. And when you get it, call me. So, long story short, he ended up calling him another year later and saying, well, let's do the demo. It could be something. And it turned out to be big.
Yeah. Now, are you still his music director?
No, I play with him when he calls me, and he's in trouble usually. He can't find anybody.
Well, who would not want to play for Lou Gramm?
That's what I said. I learned, though, there are people that do. On his first solo album, when they told me they were bringing in hired guns because, they needed more support for, people buying the record, so they wanted to get guys that had played on hits to come in and do it. They recruited Nils Lofgren, who's one of my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
They got Ed Martinez, who was another big guitar player at that point in time. I think he had just done Addicted to Love with Robert Palmer, so they wanted to get him on it. So I ended up doing just a couple of cameo appearances, but I remember being in the studio one day and they told me they asked Angus Young to do a guest spot, and he told them, I don't do guest spots for anybody. I was like, wow, someday I want to make it that big.
Right? Yeah. I'm going to leave that comment alone.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I figured, you get a chance to be on Lou Gramm's album, you do it just for the fun of it, and he said, no, not in.
Well, in retrospect, or if that's even the right word, there was Eddie Van Halen who secretly went and did the guitar work on Michael Jackson's Thriller album.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I mean, if you love the instrument and you have a diverse palette, I mean that's probably what it was for Angus. Was he didn't really he liked doing what he did best.
No, I get it. And who knows, it probably would have sounded like an AC/DC song anyway.
Yeah, which I guess and that they wouldn't have let that happen.
No, definitely not. Now, as someone who teaches guitar, what do you wish you'd have known at 18 that you may tell some of your students today?
That I wish I had the internet to, to let me in on all the secrets that all the jazz guys held real close to them. I had a good enough ear that I could hear most of what I needed, to learn and know from all my heroes, artists like Jeff Beck and Hendrix.
With your musical heroes, is there still a musical bucket list for you? Any collaborations, projects you'd still want to explore if you could?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't given up on D Drive yet. I think we're going to be regrouping that for the Rochester International Jazz Festival in June here. What I did was I did a solo album after I moved back and was playing for a bunch of years with a band called Cheater in the Northeast and Southeast. We had a huge following. Put out a record called 10 Cent Love Affair. It was an EP, and we had a large following, thousands of people. Once that was done, I did my solo album in '99. I actually had Lou, and I was working with Phil Naro from Talas, Billy Sheehan, Chris. I think he's been on Peter Criss's album. He wrote a couple songs for that. And him and I were close as kids growing up, and I hooked up with him and we formed. My second solo album was called Don Mancuso's D Drive, and I think Lou appeared on 3 songs on it. He actually co-wrote one with me, and he actually did a few dates with the band. But yeah, we did that. We did the Lilac Festival here in front of like 10,000 people, and a few other shows. We did a place called the Water Street Music Hall, and I think we had to do 2 shows there because it only held 1,000 people. But we started calling the band D Drive after my second solo album, But Lou used to make cameo appearances on records and stuff for us, and we put out probably 7, 8 albums.
Oh, wow.
They're out there. And then eventually what happened was Phil ended up getting cancer. We were recording an album for a German record company that signed us during the pandemic, and he got cancer and was being treated. And we ended up putting out the album under the name Lips Turned Blue. Because at that point, D Drive, if we were on an international level, they wanted to sell it in Asia and Europe and the States. There was a band. I don't know if you're familiar with a band from Japan. This guitarist Yuki.
Not sure, no.
Yeah, they're kind of a prog metal instrumental band, and yeah, this girl's like drop dead gorgeous and plays guitar like nobody's business. She can shred, this girl. So she has a following of about probably 20 or 30,000 people online, and they've been constantly trying to get the name ddrive.com from us, but I haven't sold it because I want to hold on to it. And they
Right.
told us you can't be named D Drive. We had to change the name of the band, Lip Turn Blue, which was a good idea anyways at the time. Different music anyways, being during pandemic and having your singer getting ready to pass away, it was it was hard to stay positive. A lot of it's about life's experiences. And
Well, I'm sorry for your loss with your former lead singer.
thank you. Yeah, he had an amazing range, and he was an incredible writer and performer.
Another question I have for you, over these past 4 or 5 decades you've been in the music business, what's kept you passionate and creative when so many other musicians just seem to either burn out, fade away, or just, kind of go with the flow?
It's pretty much I've been blessed with being involved with a lot of great musicians and less drama or politics. I don't do well with the backstabbing and all the politics, so I do it under my own conditions. It's why I've never really made it to a point of where I'm like, foreigner status. You got to do some special things, do that, and be in the right place at the right time. But I think I've just been lucky. I was in the right place at the right time to get in Black Sheep. I got signed at an early age and could prove that I had talent, and I was pretty good at what I did. And then from there, it just kind of grew.
Well, are you able or willing to talk anything quickly about Foreigner? And
Oh, no, 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 I'm not. I've never been really standoffish about any of it. I'm more than happy to talk about it. But what did you want to know? Like what Lou's doing with it now, or?
you were just talking about Lou wanting to retire, and I know he still has some appearances and such with the band. Is he more obligated to do that, or is he just trying to close the door of his Foreigner career?
No, I think at this point he doesn't want to be on full tours. He's doing like spot dates with Foreigner, and I think he's still doing a couple dates with his all-star band. And he's still enjoying, the singing part and being in the music business to an extent, but he doesn't, he would love to just like retire and do a few shows a year that he handpicked or that do. I mean, with Foreigner, they don't have any original members except for Lou. So that's mainly the driving force behind them getting him to come and do those dates. I mean, they've had Foreigner together with, A-list musicians for like the last 20 years. We were out on the road touring for 10 years with the Lou Gramm Band, and we crossed paths a bunch. But he's still enjoying singing, and I think he feels blessed that he can even do it now. Because I mean, there was a point where the doctors told him go home, get your will together and settle your affairs because you're gonna die. And he had to get the brain tumor removed, which took years to recover.
Well, I had the opportunity, was it last year or 2 years ago, when he was on tour with Bret Michaels, and he sounded great.
He has good and bad days like anybody that's in their 70s, 80s, whatever, but he still got the same voice. And when he's in a good mood and he's rested, he can do it.
He put on, just a few songs. I think it was 3 songs he had, but I really, honestly, I didn't want to go per se to say, hey, I was going to a Bret Michaels concert, because I've seen Bret Michaels with Poison and I've seen him in his solo band. I wanted to go see Lou, and that's the reason I went to the concert.
Yeah, it was terrible when he was recovering from from the brain surgery. He went out prematurely with Foreigner, I think it was, and he just was in no shape to sing. He was just barely breathing. I mean, they used to have to give him oxygen, every other song. And people saw him in that condition and said, "Oh, he sucks. He's lost it. He's just not good anymore." And you got to look at where someone's been and where they're coming from. Oh, people are too critical, is what it is. Everybody's the judge on The Voice.
Oh yeah, and there are some artists out there that kind of need to, I don't want to say call it a day, but go out gracefully. And I think Lou is actually doing that.
He is. No, he's worked hard to get it back and to be able to do it for at least a few years. I mean, and now that Foreigner finally got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can cash in on it a little more and have some fun. Might as well do it.
And speaking of Hall of Fame, you are in the Rochester Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I got in with Lou. Big surprise. It was with Black Sheep and Lou.
Nice. So what did that recognition mean to you?
Basically that all the work we did and the struggles we went through to get those 2 albums and singles, and I mean, I think it was even more than that. It went into, 10 years I spent touring and recording with the Lou Gramm Band, and him coming on with my solo D-Drive albums, and it was just kind of a nice acknowledgement of, you guys have done a great job.
Now, looking back at everything from Black Sheep to today, what is your proudest musical journey or moment?
Well, it's really a struggle, because I mean, I've had a lot of them. I mean, I toured Europe with Lou when he did the Rock Meets Classic shows in 2011. We were out on tour, and what they do is they have the Prague Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
That they put together, and they have a whole orchestra behind. They're internationally known. I think on that tour it was Lou, Dan McCafferty from Nazareth, and they had one other guy that was big. I didn't recognize him. Mark Moros, or
oh yes, he's from Crocus.
Yes, that's it. Yes, some proudest moments, because I was touring through Europe and playing in front of 10 to 20,000 people a night, and just with an orchestra. It's like I'm standing next to a cello player playing Hot Blooded. So I'm writing a book actually at the point, because I've got so many stories like that. And I've met a lot of famous people like John Lennon.
Oh, wow.
I worked with Eddie Money on the Jingle Bell Rock tour with Lou, and I got to be friends with Eddie Money on that, and Mickey Thomas from the Starship. Just hanging out with Elvin Lee for a few months backstage is like, a couple stories. You should write a book. It's like, yeah, I guess I should. Definitely have enough years.
Now, is it more just based on your experiences? Is there going to be a biography to it as well?
Yes, it's pretty much, how I got started and how I ended up where I am now, and then all the interesting stuff, hopefully, that happened in between. Because I mean, there's things that I went through. I've been I've been touring for so many years, on and off with doing local clubs and restaurants and whatever bars around here. But I mean, in Black Sheep, before the release of the second album, we were actually called for a last minute show at the New York Academy of Music to open up for Peter Frampton.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what we said was, oh my gosh, we got to whip this drummer into shape. We got to get at least like a set of material together so we can do this. And we did it. And we showed up there, and it's the one and only time I've ever been booed off the stage.
What?
It was amazing. And, I thought it was because people didn't like us, but what was happening was at that time, Peter Frampton hadn't made it with Alive, Frampton Comes Alive. He didn't have airplay. He had basically kind of like 2 or 3 solo albums out. He was with Humble Pie, and people knew him, and he was popular, but he wasn't the draw that day. There was a band that just came out a month before that called Montrose that was opening up on tour.
Wow.
And Montrose had 2 or 3 hits right out of the chute, and they bailed on the tour, and no one knew it until they got there.
And that
So we're on stage getting things thrown at us, and people yelling Montrose, Montrose, and I'm going, are they here? Where are they? I've heard of them. They're a great band. And we got booed off the stage basically because we were not Montrose. Once you have a hit like that, you have that kind of success, they want you to do your own tour and get off of whatever you're doing. So they just kind of cut Frampton off and said, all right, man, we're out of here. We got to go do our own thing and make real money.
Oh man. Wow. That's insane.
It's the original Montrose, Sammy Hagar, yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you were booed off, not because you guys were horrible. So a little bit more about your book. When do you think you're going to have that completed?
I have to find a writer to help me organize it, and I'm hoping within the next few months.
Nice.
Yeah, it should be. I'm really excited about it now. I never wanted to write a book, and I never thought I was that interesting that anybody would ever want to read about it, but apparently I've been through a lot of things that people find interesting, so I figured, what the hell?
Well, you know what? You are from, and I mean this in the most respectful way, that classic era of music.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty proud of it too. I'm not really ashamed to tell people how old I am or have them see me and say, "Oh, he's old."
Well, I just hit my 50s, and it kind of hurts a little bit with me, but
Oh yeah.
no, do you have a title for it yet picked out?
No, I don't. If you got any ideas, let me know, or if you know anybody that's creative with that stuff.
Well, you never know. Well, we could throw some ideas together. What do you want the main focus to be on for like a title?
My love of music and the luck I've had with working with great musicians that I would have never have thought I would ever, meet, let alone work with. Make sure you mention my book.
Maybe I will come up with a name for your book and you can run with it.
Ideas welcome. I'll give you credit for it. Everybody gets credit for everything they contribute to on this. Yeah, I've always considered myself more humble than the guy who brags about himself and everything he can do. And it's probably hampered my career in ways, without management or someone to keep telling people, oh no, he's really great. Old school is good.
Absolutely. I try to tell my boys that all the time, and they just shake their heads. So hopefully they'll learn someday.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Well, Don, thank you for taking time out to talk with me here on the Gen X Marks the Spot podcast. Please try to stay warm because I know I'm going to try to stay warm down here in Pittsburgh.
Yep, I'm doing the same. I'm going to go into my hot tub at 103 degrees. That'll do it.
Well, I'm a little jealous now. I don't have a hot tub, but I got some hot-headed kids, so I'm going to go and talk to them. So
That's okay. I had to wait till I got rid of the kids before till I could get mine, and it was well worth it. You'll need it in another 10 or 20 years for sure.
I hope not that long, but my oldest just turned 18, so hopefully someday soon.
Oh, that's pretty good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
You take care. Thank you again for everything.
I can't wait for Don's book to come out. It's on days like this that it's cold, it's wintertime. I just want to wrap up, read a good book, especially any bios about bands and artists. I absolutely love them. Now, if I had a hot tub, I would be reading a book in the hot tub as well. Is it just going to go straight online? I should have asked him that. We're old school. We want to read books. I mean, if we drop the book in a hot tub, what's the worst that could happen? The pages get wet, we buy a new one. But if we drop our phones or our tablets or whatever, that's way too expensive. Sorry, getting on a little tangent there, but it's true though. It's true. We're old school. We're Gen X. Don, I'm wishing you the best of luck on your bio and also on the music you got coming out down the road. I used to spend some time in Rochester, New York. My wife's family's from there. Now they're all in Pennsylvania, so no more trips to Rochester. It's been really cool to meet Don and Lou and all the other members of Black Sheep. And Don, heavy downpour of snow instead of rain, because we all know it snows like crazy up in Rochester. All right, everyone, that's another episode of Gen X Marks the Spot podcast. And remember, keep the beats going, the music loud. Peace out. Props everyone for listening. I'm Joe Augustine.